Now that Trump is in office and in Canada, Trudeau has stepped down and a new leader is going to be coming in for the Liberal Party and potentially a new vote. Many are asking, hey, Andre, are you potentially thinking about coming back to North America? And my short answer is no. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the reasons why I'm not coming to Canada and why Serbia is not like North America. Now, no country is perfect, and Serbia is not exempt from that. However, there are many things that I love about Serbia that I do not experience in Canada. And these are the things that bring many people here to Serbia because they feel that they don't fit right in. Something's just wrong in their country that they're at right now. And this is what I hear from all the clients that we work with. Hey, well, listen, life here where we're currently at isn't what we're exactly looking to be in. Something doesn't feel right. The taxes are too much. The government isn't exactly the way it's running the way it should be. I don't want to raise my kids in a certain environment where it's dangerous, where they can get picked up off the road, whatever it might be. But I sat down and I thought about it, and I'm going to talk about the reasons why I feel that Serbia is a much better country for anyone looking to leave what is known as their home country. And number one is that there is no civil asset forfeiture. Now, what you might not understand what I mean by civil asset forfeiture is that in Canada, it's a very digital country to the point that if you have cash and large sums of cash, it's almost looked at as if you're doing something wrong. And so even if you get pulled over by the cops in Canada, they can steal your money and you have to fight for it to get it back. You could say, hey, listen, this is legitimate money that I am a contractor for and I got paid in cash. They don't care. If you're walking around with large sums of money, you can get that money taken from you regardless of where you are. Another one that comes to cash is that if you're going to a bank and looking to deposit over $10,000, for instance, they want to know your complete history of where you got that money, what was it for, and it's more of an interrogation process than an actual service-based company that should be like, hey, listen, you want to deposit your money into our banks, no problem. And the other one is if you're looking to pull out money, you're going to be, waiting weeks upon weeks if you're looking for just a measly couple $1,000s, not to mention tens of thousands of dollars. I can remember that I asked once in Canada, I'd like to take out $15,000 for a project I had going on, and they said that's going to be about 2.5 weeks. I had to fill out a whole form talking about why I needed that money, who it's going for. They had to do a whole background check and order the money. But on the other hand, here in Serbia, when I moved here and I looked to purchase my property, I needed to pay it in dinars. I only had American dollars at that point. And so I was able to simply call the banks and be like, hey, listen, I need 80,000 US dollars withdrawn out of my account to pay off what I have left on the down payment. And it was simply, hey, listen, we'll have that for you in 24 hours. They literally had a Brinks truck, not a Brinks truck, but a armored vehicle pull up to the bank, bring in all the cash in there. They had to count it and everything. But, it was a matter of, hey, listen, sit down here. We're going to give you the money and, you can go and do what you want with it. And, I literally put the money into a backpack and walked down to the exchange, exchanged it into dinars, paid off the note, and that's it. And you might be thinking, hey, Andre, it's a little scary to be walking down the street with $80,000 in cash, don't you think? Well, in Serbia, it's very safe here, and it's not like I went around flaunting it. Robberies here are very limited and rare in most cases, unlike in North America where robberies happen on the daily by the tens and hundreds, right? You can just see that right now in Canada and the United States. You know, there's gangs everywhere, there's armed thugs everywhere stealing vehicles, stealing your backpacks, you know, robbing people left, right, and center, going into malls, smash and grabs, all that type of stuff. You don't see that here in Serbia. And so because I just walked down the street as if I was just a normal individual, you know, I felt pretty comfortable about it. And so that to me is something that I look at as a lot more freedom than what Canada and United States is, where there's supposedly free countries, but you cannot walk or ask for a certain amount of money, you can't deposit a certain amount of money, and you can't have on your persons a certain amount of money without being looked at as a criminal. The next point is that in North America, it's very much like a police state. The police officers there, they talk down to you. You can't even have a civil conversation. Whereas here in Serbia, you know, you can, you know, have a normal conversation with a police officer. It's quite common to see police officers in full uniforms at restaurants, at kafanas, sitting with, you know, civilians and having a cup of coffee and enjoying their time. If you're walking down a back alley, you don't have to look over your shoulder and see a cop there and know that you're going to get pulled over because, you know, you're acting suspicious. In North America, the police are hated so much that you cannot wear a uniform out in public, because that's pretty much like having a target on your back for, you know, anybody out there. You know, it's quite often to see cops getting gunned down in United States and Canada because of their persona towards the public. And you've seen that firsthand where you in the Freedom Convoy that they had in Canada, you know, because people were protesting what was going on at that time in the world, people were having their license plate pictured or taken photos of by the police officers and their bank accounts frozen. And they had old women in wheelchairs trampled by the RCMP. And this is supposed to be a democratic country. And, you know, I don't see that, happening here. You know, we just had, 300,000 people protesting in the streets here in Novi Sad. And there was very little police presence there. And not to mention that nobody's bank accounts got shut down because they were, protesting what they were protesting, which is something very refreshing to see. In North America also, when you see a police officer, you feel afraid for your safety and you do not actually feel like you are being protected. Look at all the shootings that the police have done in the United States and in Canada, because there's so many robberies happening, either vehicle thefts or break and enters. What do the police officers say? They say, leave your keys at the front door so that it's easier for the robbers to take your vehicle so that you are not beaten in your own house. There's been a number of articles out there showing that people have called the cops in the middle of a robbery 3, 4, 5 times and been hung up on, and that is completely ridiculous. But if you dare do something that is against the government, you know, the cops will be sure at your front door, especially when it comes to social media posting now. It's getting that ridiculous, and that's not what I consider a free country or democratic country, and you just simply don't have that here in Serbia. The third one is that you have some of the highest healthcare costs with the worst value in North America. And I'm not saying that the healthcare system here in Serbia is perfect. There are pros and cons, and the people here in Serbia, they will complain about their healthcare system. However, one of the things that they don't understand is they've not been to North America, where you have to pay upwards of $50,000 to deliver a baby in the United States. You do not have to wait 9, 10, 12 months to see a specialist and have your leg amputated because you waited too long to see a specialist. And it's getting to the point nowadays that the government in Canada is offering you MAID instead of actually going to see a doctor or a specialist. And for those people that are watching and are not aware of what MAID is, it's medical assisted induced suicide, I believe, something along those lines, where they offer you death rather than curing you. And to me, that is not a first world country if they're offering you that as an alternative. But this is something that is allowed in Canada, and something that has been well documented, as well as there's an article that I saw not too long ago that a gentleman had Crohn's disease, and he had 8 failed surgeries in Canada to help himself with the Crohn's disease, and was given, not much long to live, and he had to actually go down to United States, and I believe he paid $600,000 for one surgery, which ended up curing him and having and prolonging his life. But for him to go through 8 surgeries under a free medical system and actually not get anything is completely wrong in my eyes. And I believe that Serbia has both, public and private healthcare, and you can go to both. And I've experienced both, and I feel that both of their healthcare systems here, not perfect, but they are a lot better than what I've experienced in Canada myself. Now, the next one, should I say, is the fourth one, is the fourth wave of feminism. Here in Serbia, we don't have that fourth wave of feminism where there are gender wars and men and women are at each other's throats. Are there sometimes domestic situations? Sure, that happens all over the world. But here in Serbia, we don't have people arguing over what pronouns to call each other, and if you call someone by the wrong pronouns, that you're gonna get reprimanded by that. There is a article, or a news article, that came out of British Columbia not too long ago, where a 10-year-old girl wanted to change her her gender, and the parents were separated. The mom was for it, the dad was not, and the dad didn't even want to call his daughter by the proper name, and he was arrested and put in jail for 30 days simply by not calling his 10-year-old child the proper name. And that's something you do not see here in Serbia whatsoever. We don't have that, what I believe is a mental illness. We're not perfect here by any means, but that there is not promoted at all. And so the other one that I'm going to bring up is the social chaos that you have in North America because of the fourth wave feminism, the pronouns and gender ideology. That is, to me, not something that I want to be a part of. And many of our clients that we work with say, hey, listen, just because Trump is in office, just because Trudeau has stepped down, does not actually mean that all this is going to disappear. This is something that has been ingrained in the culture, and is not going to be something that you can hit a light switch off and say, hey, listen, we're done with this nonsense. Violent crimes is another one, like I just mentioned earlier a little bit. U.S. is falling behind some South American cities even when it comes to violent crimes. Canada is having a number of home evasions and rapes and child abductions at record numbers. And you can say that I live in North America and I don't live with this. However, the statistics do not lie. You see this. You could be living in a smaller community where you are not experiencing this, but does not mean that it's not in existence and not actually happening. And so the last one that I'd like to touch on is that the public education is an absolute failure when it comes to what they're teaching the younger generations. The United States is ranked 34th in math in the world and 16th in science. Now in Canada, they're a little bit better in there, but they're also not teaching kids what they need to know. You know, you don't need to know gender ideology. You do not need to know pronouns and things of that nature. You need to learn finances. You need to learn how to, what is interest rates, how to manage a credit card. All these types of things is something that should be taught in the public education system, but is not. And you can play it conservative, and maybe Trump will help for the next 4 years, and the next prime minister will change that in Canada. But the damage is already done as far as I'm looking at it. You can come here to Serbia. You have clean streets. You don't have a homeless epidemic and a huge drug problem like you do see in North America. You do see people that are struggling here in Serbia. I'm not saying that it's the bee's knees of countries, but in Canada, it's quite easy to see tense cities. This is like hundreds of tents and open fields and parks. The drugs are deregulated and kids are not able to go out in parks because they're going to be exposed or maybe get poked by a needle. Here in Serbia, you're still seeing kids that are playing on the streets, where in Canada, they have completely banned kids playing on the streets. And so no wonder that there's an obesity crisis in the youth also in North America, because they're not able to actually be kids or placed indoors in front of a video game and given some food that is not even deserving for a dog, in my opinion. So this is some of the top reasons that I've thought of, and a lot of the clients have brought up that we work with that are relocating to Serbia and have taken us upon on our services. If you have any experiences on your own as to you moving to Serbia and what the difference is here compared to the country that you left, I love to hear your comments or read your comments in the comments section, and I'll catch you on the next one.